Traviata is one of the most frequently performed operas in the repertoire, and rightfully so, for its immediate story, memorable melodies, and masterwork status in the Verdi catalog. In just under a month, Manitoba Opera's staging of this cornerstone in the opera canon opens. Leading up to and during La Traviata, they are also offering Opera Plus. And I'm joined by Director of Marketing, Darlene Ronald, to learn more. Good afternoon.
Hello, Simon.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to see you, Darlene.
Thanks, you too.
Well, thanks for coming by the studio. Before we get to La Traviata and all the Opera Plus events going on, I'm just really curious. I want to begin by saying Manitoba Opera does such a good job of coming up with these events. How do you go about doing that?
Well, thank you, first of all. It's a team and just lots of brainstorming and throwing out things, and some of them are wild and wacky and never happen, and some of them are wild and wacky and do happen, and some of them are, everywhere in between. But a few seasons ago, we made a real conscious decision to start having more and more conversations around what we're putting on the main stage to give ourselves and our community an opportunity to discuss the themes, issues, subject matter, content of the main stage productions, and it adds another layer of relevancy to having an opera company in our community. So it's led us down some amazing paths with our patrons and other people who come to the events, where we've had opportunities to talk about a really wide range of issues and things that are in our community that the storylines have helped to trigger. And it's really a cornerstone now of who we are and what we do in our community.
Well, I'm thinking immediately of, and we were talking about it at the office before you came in, Beethoven and Fidelio, involving local refugees and working with the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. I mean, that exhibits just that, right? Is incorporating Winnipeg into these operas.
Yep, it is. And we've worked with the Mood Disorders Association when we did Werther, and, that was suicide and mental health. We've worked with numerous organizations who guide us sometimes with some of the different events that we put on, and make sure that we're presenting them in an appropriate way, and also sourcing, speakers and experts on all of these things, because we are by no means, experts on these topics. We're just providing an opportunity for people to talk and have a conversation, learn, reach out a little more into our community than we would normally.
And that opportunity comes from not just the opera itself, but maybe information about the composer, or maybe about the staging, or maybe about what was going on at the time, which gives you guys lots of fodder. You've got lots of opportunity to tap into different markets that way, which is what, again, just makes it super cool. And that's why I enjoy it.
Exactly. Like last fall with Madame Butterfly, we talked about cultural appropriation, and so that was, some good conversations that we had, and people in our community have a chance to, express their opinions and thoughts. So it's been good.
So as part of this 2017-18 season, this closer is La Traviata. How did you come about brainstorming ideas for this Verdi work?
Well, you look at the story, you look at what's going on, we look at how we're presenting it. In this case, we've reset it to the 1920s, Paris, in a music hall. So the sets and costumes are brand new, actually. It will be the premiere performance of this new production. We've worked with 4 other opera companies in the country to put this co-production together, and it's the first time that that's ever happened. It's a lot of balls to juggle to get the different companies, different schedules, different venue sizes, to be able to do this at that large a scale. So that's been great. And then, it's just a lot of brainstorming, research, and basically there's no, unfortunately, magic wand that we can wave and it all sort of unfolds and here it is. But it's been meant, we've gotten to know some really interesting people in our community and work with them, and La Traviata is another example of that. We've got the film screening kicking things off this Saturday, so you can see what the behind the scenes is of putting an opera together. We're having a lecture on tuberculosis and the romanticization of it that occurred when people wanted to look like they had consumption and were dying, and the literature and arts and how that translated. Then we're doing an Art Deco lecture.
I think that one's definitely one of my favorites. I mean, I've done a couple of Winnipeg Architecture Foundation walks through our downtown with Jeffrey Thorstensen, and he's just such a wealth of knowledge. And it's pretty interesting to see how this ties into Manitoba Opera and this particular staging. Right?
Yeah. So it'll be a great opportunity to learn more about Art Deco, because that's the setting for this production. As you mentioned earlier, of course, there's the opportunities to learn about the music and the story, and we've got another important lecture on on a Tuesday afternoon, actually, happening at the U of W with a prof talking about gender and race on the stage. And she'll also be referencing Josephine Baker, who was a star in France and an American woman. And she is sort of an inspiration point for
of the production.
For the way that we're setting our version of La Traviata. Story stays the same, though. The music is still there.
Yes.
Like, we don't want anyone to think that that's being changed, so that certainly isn't. And all of these events are free.
Wow.
Yes, so we just want people to enjoy them. You don't have to ever come to an opera. You can still come to our events. We'd love to have you. And it's just as simple as registering for them in the office so that we know you're coming and taking them in. What else have we got?
What I was going to say, what else is going on? I mean, there's a fair number of them. I should also mention, if people are looking for information about the Opera Plus events, where can they get information?
Well, it's on the website, which is manitobaopera.mb.ca, or just phone in. Actually, and there's even an ad in the Free Press today with a listing of all the things we're doing for free.
Well, that's perfect. I wanted to ask you, though, for those who are maybe on the fence about going to check out La Traviata, what can you tell us about this production? Just as a little sneak preview, if you will.
Right. Well, I mean, the opportunity to be amongst the first to see the brand new sets and costumes, which are
this is brand new.
Brand new, quite lovely. I mean, the singers are fabulous. Angel Blue, who's going to be singing the main female character, Violetta. It's the first time she'll be singing in Canada, and she really is going to be a name to be reckoned with. She just sang at the Met in the fall, Mimi and La Boheme. The other singers, James Westman is a well-established singer and Canadian singer. He'll be singing the father of the young man who falls in love with Violetta, Adam Luther. So the singing quality is phenomenal. Those singers do not use mics.
Yeah.
You are in the last row of the second balcony in the concert hall, and you get to experience.
You're going to hear them.
You're going to hear them. And that, to me, is amazing in this world of ours now that is so technology-centered that you can go and have that experience. The orchestra in the pit, 40 chorus members on the stage. Like, what's not to love?
It truly is a spectacle. Darlene, thanks so much for coming by the studio this afternoon. It was a real pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, Simon.
Good seeing you again.
Always good.
Darlene Ronald, Director of Marketing at Manitoba Opera. Their upcoming production of La Traviata begins April 14th, running through the 20th. For more information, visit manitobaopera.mb.ca or classic107.com.